Welcome everyone and thank you for joining me. My name is Tandin Tlapo and today we are looking at VAT, which is the value added tax. Did you know that the value added tax was introduced in South Africa on the 29th of September 1991 as a direct tax? It is levied at 15% currently in South Africa on most goods and services. The Minister of Finance announced during the budget speech on February 2018 that VAT will increase from 14% to 15% in the 2018-2019 financial year. However, VAT is not charged on some goods and services. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain the acronym VAT, determine items which are exempted from VAT, calculate amount of VAT payable, or show how amount of VAT was calculated, and lastly, determine VAT inclusive and VAT exclusive amounts. Now, these are the concepts that we will be looking at. We are going to start by looking at the acronym VAT. They determine what items that are exempted from VAT, determine the VAT inclusive and the VAT exclusive amounts, and determine amount of VAT payable. Now, by now, you should know or you should be able to calculate the percentages, be able to round off to the nearest cents or rands, and know that money is rounded off to 2 decimal places. Right, now let us look at the first example of which we will be looking at working with percentages. It says here if you invest 18,000, if you invest 18,000 with an interest rate of 14% per annum, the word per annum, it means per year, how much interest will you receive at the end of the year? So we are looking or we are calculating the interest that we are going to be accumulating at the end of this investment. So now firstly, we need to start by what we know or what we are given. We are given that we are investing a total amount of 18,000 at an interest rate of 14%. So 14% can also be written as 14 over 100. So now looking or working out that on your calculator, calculating how much interest are you going to accumulate at the end of this investment, we are going to accumulate 2,550. So this is the interest that will be accumulated at the end of this investment. And now, secondly, we are still on working with percentages. We're looking at number 2. It says here, what is 6.7% of 25,000? So now 6.7%, it can also be 6.7 over 100, and your off will become your multiplication sign. Remember when we work with the BODMAS. So now the brackets will represent off. So now off will be our multiplication sign. So we are calculating the 6.7% of 25,000. So this will give us 1,675. So that is 6.7% of your 25,000. Now, looking at the second example, it says here a pack of Cappy juice costs 69 Rand 95. Calculate the cost of each juice. Now, if there are 6 and they cost 69 Rand 95, we need to find the cost of each, meaning one of them. Now, we need to round off our answer to the nearest cents firstly, and thereafter to the nearest rands. So now starting with what we are given the price of this 6-pack to be 69 Rand 95, and to have the cost of each, meaning we are going to divide by 6 because there are 6 inside this pack. So now 69 Rand 95 divided by 6, it will give us 11 Rand. So it's going to be 11 11,658 recurring. So now rounding this off to the nearest cent, it's going to be 11 rand 66 cents, because now the value just after our 5, it is more than 5, it is 8, so it means we are going to add a 1 on our left so that it makes 66, so it's 11 rand 66 cents. Then looking at number B, it says rounded off to the nearest rands. So now we are going to use the same procedure, of which is 69 rand 95 being divided by 6. So it gives us 11 rand 65 and an 8 recurring. So now rounding it off to the nearest rands, we are going to have 12 rand, meaning each can will cost 12 rand, because now the number after the comma is at 6 and it's above 5. So we just round it off to the nearest whole number. Right. So now looking at the terminology that we should remember that VAT is a levy that is charged on purchases of goods and services, of which it is levied at 15%. And then we must also know that the VAT exclusive is an amount without VAT. It means VAT is not yet being added on that amount. As well as looking at the VAT inclusive, it says here the amount with VAT. When it says inclusive, it means now the amount of VAT has been added. And lastly, the term VAT, of which it stands for value added tax. Now, how do we get our VAT? Having these two values, you can take your VAT inclusive amount and subtract your VAT exclusive amount in order for you to get your VAT amount. Now, we are going to take a quick ad break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.